All right, hello everyone. Today we have our first place winner of the Dimension Force Case Tournament, Javier. He has topped with his deck Dogmatika Spellbook. What else is in there?
I'll let you know about the spice when we get into the profile for all the
Yeah, he
engines.
plays first and he won 2 boxes, so congratulations for him. All right, let's get started with the deck profile.
Alrighty, let's move these guys out of the way. So starting things out, I'm going to start out with the Spellbook engine. We start off with our main starter slash hand trap bait is Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. He definitely gets you a lot of card advantage in the sense of +1s. Everyone always does ask, why do you not play Alistair? Like, this seems basically like a boneless invoke deck, which is very true, don't get me wrong. But I prioritize card advantage over a neg1 negate, such as Mechaba. So I'd rather just play this. And also, who doesn't love first edition Ultimate Rares, right? The next searcher, so this searches any Spellbook spell card. And then our generic searcher is Spellbook of Secrets. This one searches every single one of your Spellbook cards, in deck, monster, or spell. And then the rest of it, we have one Fate, which is most of the time our non-target banish. 2 Spellbook of Knowledge, this is your draw engine, and then 3 we have 1 Spellbook of the Master. This one is basically your considered flex spot, but you play this for the sake that it copies your normal spellbook spells such as secrets or knowledge, to then gain an additional search to get the fate, or in situations like today I was mistaken arrested, so instead of using it on the secrets I used it on the knowledge to draw an additional 2 cards. And then I will say the techie MVP of the deck that works with another engine in my deck is the 1 Spellbook of Life. This is your monster reborn by revealing 1 in hand and then banishing a spellcaster from the grave and then special summoning another copy from the graveyard in attack mode, and then it gains the level of the monster banished. So moving on, we have our Dogmatikas. We have 3 Dogmatika Ecclesia. If anyone out there has a Italian Ultimate Rare, please help me finish my set. But she's pretty much, she is the starter for the engine as well. 2 Maximus, 2 Fleur-de-Lis, and the 1 tech of a Cheyenne for the monsters. I was playing Maximus at 1 for a very long time just because I didn't want to brick with it per se, but to be fair, now with the format going on, I actually realized that I want to capitalize on Maximus the most, and people are thinking, Javi, Despia Branded is running around, why do you want to send their extra deck to the graveyard? Well, later on I will show you why, but this card, just ripping their extra deck apart every turn really helps, as well as you being able to control the graveyard very easily. Next, we also have our generic Nidir Servant. Unfortunately, went to 2, but it was kind of understandable. This card by itself gets you a +3 in card advantage, and the 1 Dogmatika punishment. And I forgot to mention, the reason why we play a Cheyenne is to manage back our resources when you send cards off like Nidir Servant or Punishment, and then it gets back anything. Even when you send it off a Dogmatika off of Souls, which is the next engine I play, you can add back either Maximus or a Fleur-de-Lis if need be. Now for the main reason why this deck actually functioned really well today, I was actually quite surprised. This does help you turbo out and set up your field quite advantageously, is the Magician Souls package, where we play 2 Souls, 1 Illusion of Chaos, and 1 Preparation of Rites. You don't really need to play 3 Souls. I didn't want to brick with this too much, but you definitely want to see it. So I mean, if you think about it, you're playing 4 Souls, that's more than enough for the deck. And with Souls, you can also discard a lot of your like dead cards to be able to bait out hand traps, interruptions, and just gain extra card advantage by just drawing. And also due to being able to send Maximus mainly for your cost, that's what's great about it. You send it for cost, they get really surprised that you're playing this, and then they'll kind of just let this go. I'll show you off later on in another combo video like how this all like interacts with each other. But Souls definitely was necessary. I was playing the deck for a very long time without it, and then I just realized, I just had to go back to it. It just worked phenomenal today. And for the last, per se, pseudo engine is the Shaddolls. We have Nail Shaddoll Aerial and Schism. Schism's generic, it gets you to the window obviously, and against Branded for their dark attribute, it helps a lot. But the Aerial is the main MVP of today, against a lot of graveyard dependent decks slash for resource management, because what you would do is and you would think, oh, this is a brick, right? But what's great about it is it's 1,000 attacks, so you can even normal summon this, make Almirage into Gardena, and and you can still play from there. So when you summon Maximus, the reasoning for this is when you send App Cologne, you don't even search Schism most of the time, depending on what you're playing against. So if you're playing against the Despia matchup, they'll always send Titaniclad and Albion to the graveyard, thinking, oh, they're just going to play on your end phase, right? Break your board. But then you send Ariel, and then Ariel's effect is to banish up to 3 cards in the graveyards in total. So you banish their cards, they don't trigger, and then you're already in the driver's seat at that point. And I play Toad in my extra deck, so also sending it an App Cologne and a Toad when you normal summon this gets you back the Ariel as Chainlink 2 for Toad, and then App Cologne search the Schism, discarding this, and then you still rip their graveyard regardless. So it's just all about keeping your card advantage. Next up we have the hand traps. We have 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, 2 Effect Veiler, 1 Droll and Lockbird, and 3 Infinite Impermanence. Originally I was playing 3 Veiler, 3 Imperm, 3 Ash, but I realized at the Tables and Towers 3v3 a lot of people were citing Droll, and Droll is the main hitter from this deck. So I wanted to keep 1 in for the times that I do see it against my opponents. Great, it definitely worked out in the in my finals match against a Flunderies player. I opened Ash, Droll, and full combo game 2. It was amazing. That and just to be the one of cross-out target, honestly. But these are like the main stable hand traps I think you play this format. And also a cool thing about the level 1s is that they're spellcasters and level 1s, so you can go into Artemis or Relinquish Anima as well. So even if you draw a hand trap, you don't want to think that your combo is you've completely bricked or anything, because they themselves can also be a part of your combo and just like start everything off with you. As long as you have one of these and a Dogmatika, you're pretty much good to go. And now the everyone's gonna hate me for this because IO is banned, but this was the main reason why you kind of win against the majority of the format, is the 2 Secret Village and 1 Terraforming. There's nothing much I can say about this. This card is basically an auto win against Despia, Flunderies, to a degree. The Brave engine, depending, they have a Spellcaster as their main engine, but you tend to have multiple disruption to try to get rid of it. Even against Sword Soul, surprisingly, they needed a lot of spells to be able to function in this format. So I was pretty happy with this overall. And then for the last 3 generic hand trap breakers, we have 1 Call by the Grave and 2 Crossout Designator. Nothing too much to explain about this. I mean, I want my combos to resolve as much as possible. Sure, DD Crow and Nibiru are probably the heavy hitters, I would say, to it, but Droll and Lockbird is the main one, as well as Imperm on just the right card, especially on Maximus. Most of the time, they tend to negate the Magician, which is more or less okay to let resolve, but most of the time, you definitely want to make sure you get as much card advantage as possible, because this deck just gravitates so much towards it. So that's it for the main deck. It is 43 cards, not much in the sense of I've done a lot of testing with this, and ratio-wise, I think I've pretty much found the set ratio for this deck. I was fixing things between 40, 41, 44, but nothing seemed to hit the right spot. And then the second I put in the Souls engine, this definitely made the deck just kind of go into overdrive. So we are going to head over to the extra deck now. Shoutouts to my girlfriend for being my support and my field center for the majority of the day, as well as being able to steal everyone's souls as I defeated them every round. So that was a pretty big one. So going off to the extra deck, we have 1 Secure Gardna, 1 Almirage, 1 Magistus Moon Maiden Artemis, 1 Relinquish Anima. These are all your link ones. Funny enough, Anima did not come up today, but I'd rather keep this in my extra deck for the sake of having it versus not having it at all. Originally, I was going to cut this before the tournament for Cypher Lord Omega, but I decided to cut that card out last minute, and I guess it just seemed to kind of work in my favor at that point. Since DPE isn't that prevalent in the format, that's mainly the reason why I took out Omega, because Ariel kind of takes care of the rest of the format in the sense of controlling the grave, especially against Sky Striker too.
Guys in the extra monster zone.
Yeah, never put them in the extra monster zone column. And then going off for the kind of the rest of the combo, you have Crowley the First Profiteer. This basically helps extend into getting the rest of your spellbook cards after you've gone with Magician. Magician Souls is basically full combo for this deck, and that's why Crowley is necessary, because that gets you that last combo piece. And I'll explain later in the combo video the sequencing behind it. And then one Celine, one Access Code Talker. One issue this deck definitely had was beating your opponent turn 3 after you've kind of set up your control board. Because most of the time you would just like summon Fleur-de-Lis and multiple other cards to try to beat over their stuff, but sometimes if they just had like back row that you wanted to get rid of right away, Access Code Talker would definitely be the one to do it. And Access Code plus Fleur-de-Lis by itself is 8,300 points of damage during the battle phase, so definitely just being able to OTK, and that was pretty much the main thing I did today was OTK my opponent's turn 3. They never really got past turn 4 in game 1 or 3. For the one flex spot, I play Totally Awesome. This card actually really helps resource your deck card pool, because when you send it, it either adds back the Magician when you link it away for the follow-up of next turn, or for your Shaddoll package for getting back Ariel. And so with these two cards being water, it just helps having the toe to get these back. And with Knowledge, you can send any spellbook, so you can actually send the Magician from your hand to the graveyard, if anything, if you in any like bad scenario. Next up for the fusions now, we have one Titanica the Ash Dragon. Usually you play 2, but in this build, because it turbos out so fast, I decided this was like the only cuttable card in the extra deck, as well as one other card. This gets you your Dogmatikas during the end phase, clearly. Not much. This is basically what searches like the last bit of your combo piece. Over for the Shaddolls. One Construct. This is pretty much to deal with any light monster in the game, as for, let's say, Eldritch, or even, what was the other matchup I played it in? It was against Therion, surprisingly. I got rid of one of their light extra deck monsters. It was fine. This only really came up when I had no way to get to Ariel right away, so this would kind of be like that follow-up. Oh, this card, the reason with Schism, that's why. It's a light, so in Sword Soul you out either the Chisao or the Ecclesia under Secret Village. So you want to bait out their Ecclesia right away, because you don't want them to play their spells. And if you change Schism to its summon, then it forces them to think, I keep this or chain its effect? Because either way, if you don't activate it, then I'm just going to send it off of Construct and then banish your graveyard again, so you can't recur it back. Most builds don't do this, but I play 2 Apcalone. The only reason is to loop Nail Shaddoll Ariel as much as possible to banish their graveyards, and just resource management. Like right now in this format, the graveyard has been basically, it's a secondary hand, and everyone just loves playing through the graveyard. And then the last auto win card was El Shaddoll Winda. Not much to say about this. A lot of the format's dark as well, so dealing with this, it's kind of difficult. Sure, you can like bounce it back with the Brave cards and all that, but this card's usually the main target for things, and I don't mind that, which is why I play the second app clone, just to make sure I have multiple targets. And then the last card in the extra deck is one Elder Entity Entis. I used to play 2 of this card, but I cut it down to 1, thinking I wasn't really going to be forcing the control game with Maximus and things. And if you think about it, like Access Code Talker basically is multiple copies of Entis regardless, so you'd rather just finish things off right then and there. So that's it for the extra deck. Off to the side deck. For the Sword Soul matchup, or any Brave combo, we have 2 Token Collector. 3, this also can be a combo starter, funny enough, because you can normal it and it's 0 attack. You can go into the Almirage play, and then this will sit in the graveyard for when they summon a token and just bring it back. It's just multiple. It's just a great card in general. So my thought process for the rest of the side deck was board breakers, because the deck itself is very controlling, and it already has like a 1 to 2 card combo anyway. So the main thought process was just board break everything and just move past that to just limit all your opponent's resources. So for against the negate boards, Sun Avalon, Therion, even Despia to a degree with the Masquerades, Dark Ruler, you don't care if you don't deal damage right away, but you are going to be in such a significant advantage by doing so, and Dark Ruler is just a great card to do so. The next board breakers, we have 3 Lightning Storms for either Speller Traps or monsters, 3 Raigeki, just get rid of all their monsters. This definitely helped against round 5. I played against a No, round 5 I played against Despy. Raigeki came in clutch there, actually, surprisingly. They got rid of their targets for to make Guardian Chimera. And then for back row hate, we have 1 Duster, 2 Cosmic Cyclone for Mystic Mind / against Flunderies for the Dreaming Town and the Field Spell, and 1 red Reboot against back row decks like Eldritch, or any deck that has like that specific trap card that, especially for Anti-Spell Fragrance. That's what the Cyclone and Reboot was for Anti-Spell, and then the rest was just to break every single board. And that's pretty much it for the profile, everyone. I had a lot of fun today. The people I played against were actually a lot of fun. They were quite respectable and nice. I do apologize for 2-0ing all of my opponents today. Regardless of that, everyone was in good sports, and shout outs to Kevin over here behind the camera. He does a great job, so hopefully you like, comment, and subscribe. And shout outs to my girlfriend, Maria, for her support, and everyone who's helped me with cards and just like basically getting me to the place where I am now in my Yu-Gi-Oh experience, as well as Team Beige, because we are going to hit every single YCS and major event this next year. So hopefully we top, and that's all I got to say, everyone.